it's a heartbreaker, and that devil comes calling. You always feel like you're flying high when you find out you're falling. Could have been worse, that's what they're saying. But you don't worry about that piper till you're the one that's paying.
Meet Dave McGrath. Dave is a Rochester native, as well as a professional guitarist, singer, and songwriter. He's recorded albums, traveled across the country, and played music in front of thousands of people. Playing guitar since he was a kid, he embodies the true spirit of the American musician. We recently sat down with Dave to discuss the origins of his roots and talents.
I think my parents got me a little acoustic guitar when I was just a kid, and I remember taking it up to my room and trying to figure out how to tune it and noodle around on it a little bit, and I think that guitar is still around, actually. So. My house, I didn't have a lot of bands in high school. There just wasn't a lot of musicians in my school, so I primarily played in my free time by myself. Dad yelling to turn that damn thing down. So I remember those nights well. I've been in several full bands where I played electric primarily, but now lately doing more solo and duo shows, I play mostly acoustic these days. And yeah, I also play tambourine with my foot. I guess that qualifies as a second instrument. Sticking up for you, even when I know you're wrong.
Sometimes being talented and hardworking aren't enough. We also wanted to ask Dave what would motivate him to take music so seriously, full-time. Here's what he had to say.
Moved out to Seattle, Washington after college and worked on Mount Rainier National Park. After working on the mountain for a summer, I moved down to the city, and at the time in the 90s in Seattle, the music scene was exploding, so there was a lot of musicians there. I started meeting people from all around the world and just became entrenched in the art and music scene there, and just took off from there. Some of the more memorable shows I've done were out west. We did one in Seattle during the Gulf War. It was kind of a peace protest, and I remember playing a song I had written called No More War. The people in the audience just spontaneously joined hands and created a great big circle in this park, and I'll never forget that moment. It was pretty cool. My schedule's on my website, davemcgrath.com, and I play an average of 5 shows a week in the winter and sometimes as many as 8 or 10 in the summer. I host a couple open mics around town, Monday nights at Sully's Brickyard Pub and Tuesdays at TC Hooligans in Webster. So those are some of the weekly, also in Menden Cottage Hotel. I'm out there on Thursdays right now. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about the gig as far as putting together a set list. I like to get on stage and just kind of feel the audience and see what the room feels like before I decide what I'm going to play. I do provide my own sound system most of the time, which I leave in the back of my truck because I use it every day. So I just show up to a gig. I don't take very long to set up. I have a pretty small system, so I'm able to come in and within a half hour I'm up and playing, and it's a pretty easy system to get up and go. I probably perform about 300 songs on average, and I try and keep, since I play so many times a week, some people come to several shows a week. I try and put on a different show every night and not repeat songs too often.
So make sure to check out Dave at www.davemcgrath.com or at any of his live shows throughout the Rochester or Finger Lake regions. We also wanted to make sure before we left this musician, we found out what drove him creatively. His answers surprised us.
I like writing songs. I just kind of noodle whenever something comes to mind and put it together in a song, and just wait for it to come, I guess. A lot of times I can just get an idea and scratch it down on a napkin. I have a lot of half-written songs on quick draw tickets, so I guess it's whenever the muse strikes. I most recently wrote a song called Just Bones, and the premise of the song was that none of this is going to matter much when we're just bones, so it kind of put things in perspective to me, for me, about day-to-day troubles or worries and how to kind of put them in perspective, I guess.
I think love is all we remember, and there's just
It's too soft to dig a well. Diamonds are just stones. None of this will matter and I'm just bones. None of this'll matter when I'm just bones.